The opinions and suggestions expressed on the following program are solely those of the participants and are not necessarily endorsed by KRMG, Cox Media Group Incorporated, or the program sponsors. This following program is sponsored by Causeway, LLC. Information in this broadcast is not intended as an investment, tax, or financial advice. Matthew Moore is not a licensed investment advisor and speaks solely from his experience and opinions. All information in this broadcast is for entertainment or educational purposes only. Matthew Moore, Causeway, LLC, and Cox Media Group Tulsa are not responsible for the success or failure of any person's investment decisions or purchases. Matthew Moore, Causeway, LLC, and Cox Media Group Tulsa makes no and expressly disclaims all representations, warranties, and guarantees with respect to this broadcast and its sponsors. Investing in any market is inherently risky and can be financially dangerous. Invest at your own risk. Gather knowledge in the world of cryptocurrency right now on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's news and talk. Welcome to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Matthew is locally based right here in Tulsa. Questions, comments, concerns? Call 918-460-5764 or send us an open mic using the KRMG app. Now, here's Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore.
And good Sunday evening to you. My name is Russell Mills. Thank you for joining us for Cryptocurrency without Matthew J. Moore this week, because Matthew taking a much-deserved time out, but that's okay. He's got a very capable couple of co-hosts here, and we got a couple special guests. We're going to have a nice round-table chat. We're going to get into some basics here on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and all that kind of good stuff, and we're going to kick it off by introducing you to our guest hosts. We'll start with Mr. Eric Cooper. Good evening, sir.
What is going on, guys? Matt might be MIA this week, but once again, don't worry about it. I'm here to bring you your weekly dose of Bitcoin, and as they say, the show must go on. Today, we're going to have a special kind of show for you, a show in which you can participate. That's right. If you're driving, if you're in the garage, I don't know what else you might be doing while you're listening, but you can participate in our show. And if you want to grab a pen and paper, if you want to record it with your camera, whatever you need to do, we've got a phone number. We've got an on-demand section that you can pull in. If you just want to dial the number, we've got 918-460-5764. Once again, 918-460-5764. And then also you can go to krmg.com or on the app. We've got the on-demand button so you can send in a voice recording. Any questions that you got, anything about cryptocurrency. Hey, Eric, what's going on? What is going on out there? We'll do our very best to answer your questions with the panelists that we have today. But before we introduce them, I want to introduce you to our co-host for this episode, and his name is Nyc Burns. He runs the Tulsa-based Bitcoin podcast known as the Nyc and Griff Show. Nyc, my brother, NYC, welcome back to the program. But this time, my very, very, very capable co-host.
I feel like you today, man. You're typically the co-host. I feel like a little bit like you. I'm not rocking the mustache, but man, I'm excited to be back here. And I'm excited to jump into this sucker today. Something we got to cover is Bitcoin lingo. I'm sure there's tons of people out there that are listening to the show that have no idea what we're talking about because of the slang in the industry, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's must. And to help us cover these terms for the listeners and the questions, we've got two folks here in studio with us. Number one is returning guest, chartered financial analyst. And I like to call you my good friend because anytime that I see your number pop up on my phone, I get all fuzzy. So, but we have Andrew Ryan, and then as our first-time guest on the show, Bitcoin miner Jeremy Henshaw, who is a pop rock star, FYI. just found that one out. Gentlemen, please introduce yourself.
I'm Andrew. I founded the Tulsa Bitcoin Meetup, and this is not my first rodeo here on KRMG.
I'm Jeremy. I've got a company called 913 Hero with my business partner, and we find land and power for large Bitcoin mining companies and all over Oklahoma and Texas. So it's been a fun ride.
Beautiful. This is going to be a fun panel of cats to have for some questions today. But Eric, before we get things kicked off, you got to remind people that you guys are also going to be giving away $200 worth of Bitcoin.
That's right. And if you want to learn how you can win some free Bitcoin, you should stick around. Segment 2, we're going to find out how you can qualify.
Andrew and Jeremy, what do you guys think about giving away Bitcoin during the bottom? What might be a bottom of the bear market? What do you think about that?
Well, it's okay to give away Bitcoin as long as it's not my Bitcoin. Just kidding. But I think it's when there's a bear market like this, it's a great educational opportunity for everyone. So.
Absolutely.
Thumbs up.
Can I get it? How do I register?
You are no longer qualified because you are on the air.
No, I think it's awesome.
That's
I
how
think
that works.
In the world of mining, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So doesn't matter what it's worth in dollars, as long as you hold it until Bitcoin goes back up, you're fine. So
Beautiful.
An important part of this equation is there is a difference between price and value, my friends.
Yes,
and I'm
sir.
sure that will come up during the course of the conversation today.
That's it. You're seeing, if you follow the crypto Twitter, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. Bitcoin being 5 times undervalued right now. So I encourage the number one thing I do is that dollar cost averaging. We might even go over what that means. So again, callers, listeners, if you guys want to join us today, any questions about cryptocurrency? We are pretty much a Bitcoin heavy show, and that's just because it's the king. But if you do have questions, we will do our best on the old answers, and you can do 2 different things. Number one, you can go to the KRMG app or website, and you can hit the on-demand function or
Open mic.
Open mic.
Open
It's
mic
on,
button.
okay. On demand is where you're going to find our old shows. Open mic is where you're going to be able to send us some stuff. That's why we have Russell here to keep me in line. Or you can use that old school cellular phone, and maybe if you got a rotary dial, that number is 918-460-5764. 5764 stands for KRMG. So 918-460-KRMG.
Well, while we're waiting for some callers here, what was you guys' thoughts on the latest Tulsa Bitcoin meetup? I heard that it was an all-time high. I missed this one. But what was you guys' take on the meeting?
I heard the speakers were incredibly handsome.
Jeremy says that because he was one of the speakers. Turnout was really good. I'd say we had about 50 to 60 people there. And yeah, the panel was interesting. They were talking about Bitcoin mining, and I think everyone learned something.
It was a great mix. It was a nice mix of mining and different experience levels. Compass was there, which was really cool to have a company that big come to Tulsa and join something like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
And the first round was on them, so everyone had a good time.
Gotta love that. I know the actual mining process from a technical standpoint was difficult to utilize, or difficult for me to wrap my mind around. So whenever you guys were first getting into the space, what are some of the things that were confusing to wrap your minds around? And was there any terminology that was confusing to you guys?
I think for me, it was the biggest hurdle when I got into it in 2016, 2017 was figuring out how to actually get it, how to buy a piece of a Bitcoin. So it's so much easier now with all the apps and things that you can do on the internet, and it's pretty simple now. So that barrier for entry used to be a lot higher.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
I would say some of the lingo that you have to deal with is a thing. I understand that we do have a caller on the line. Shall we just throw it open? Caller, give us your name. Tell us where you're calling from, and thanks for calling Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. How can we help you out today?
Hello, can you hear me? My name's Luke.
Yeah, Luke, go for it, brother.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call. I was curious. I got me some of them Bitcoins, because my nephew told me to, so I started looking into this stuff. And I definitely think it's going to be the future because, that Web3 and metaverse stuff. But my question is, if I'm in the metaverse and we go to the moon like you guys always talk about, and I run out of money, can I plant my Bitcoins on the moon to grow more Bitcoins? Is that what y'all call yield farming?
I'm going to assume that is a facetious phone call, but he does bring up a couple of interesting points, which is what can I do with Bitcoin? What is it? Is it a thing? Is it something I can hold in my hand? Can I put it in a drawer? A lot of folks are just having a trouble wrapping their heads around the concept.
Yeah, so Bitcoin you can buy as little. You're going to pay fees one way or the other, but you can buy $20 worth of Bitcoin or $5 worth of Bitcoin. Now, whether you want to do the old fee with that's maybe not the best gains situation, but it's divisible, and so we are in an area right now to where I suggest that you hold on to your Bitcoin. Now, I've spent Bitcoin on something one time, and that was to buy my ticket to Bitcoin. Now, I went on, bought that amount, and then turned around and paid with it. So, but I'm holding. All right. So we use we have HODL, which is hold on for dear life, right? And so I would suggest don't spend your Bitcoin. That's not a question that he asked, but we are going to see a lot of different places, a lot of different industries disrupted majorly. Jack Mallers and Strike is already working on the credit card payment processing companies, and that's $1 trillion industry. So there's going to be a lot of pushback, but it is almost instantaneous settlement. And it's a great opportunity to help, obviously, local merchants keep more of their own money.
So, here are the thoughts that were generated for me from the phone call. And we got to go to break here in a second. So I'll take us into the fancy electronic music. But my thought is there's a lot of people right now who think it's a joke, who think that this is not a thing, who think that it's a pyramid scheme or that it's something that's just going to, fizzle and go away. And essentially what I say to those folks were, do you remember the 1992 when everybody said the internet was a fad and it wasn't going to last? And, I don't need a computer. Why would anybody need a computer in their house? Oh, my gosh. Well, yeah. Are you still around? I'll bet you got a computer in your house. Hey, Bob, we're going to take a quick time out, and we'll be back with more of Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG Tulsa's News and Talk. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. I'm Russell Mills. Do appreciate you hanging out with us on this Sunday. We are live and local in the big city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are without Matt today, taking a much-needed week off and spending some time hopefully recharging his batteries. And I'll bet you he's out there reading the latest crypto stuff online because he just can't help himself. In any case, he has left behind a whole cadre of well-qualified speakers to address any questions that you might have, or if you're interested in the lingo or you want to know more about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin especially, that's our wheelhouse. Well, you came to the right place. So the number, 918-460-KRMG. That is 460-5764 in the Don't Hate the 918 area code. And now turn it over to your hosts. I'll start with this guy to my immediate left, Mr. Eric Cooper. Hey, buddy.
I appreciate everybody out there listening. We know that you have a choice, so thank you for joining us. And if you want to go back and listen to any of our other 52 episodes, you can go on KRMG on demand, 51, because this is episode 52. And if you can go back there, you can check it out. Also, we are on Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can check them out YouTube, or you can just go to mattjmoore.com and check everything out there. And I've got an awesome opportunity today to be a co-host with my friend here, Nyc Burns. Nyc, what's up, brother?
I am doing great here, having a fun time being a co-host with you. But hey, for the listeners, don't forget that we are going to be giving away $200 worth of Bitcoin to one lucky winner. And all thanks to our show sponsor, GetHedge.io. But before we give out the details, in order to qualify for that prize, don't we get in your thoughts mixed up here, Jeremy? Eric, can you share with us a little bit about the show sponsor?
Absolutely. This segment is brought to you possible by a company called Hedge. Do you have a strategy to obtain cryptocurrency on a regular basis? Do you plan to automate your dollar cost averaging? What about getting all or even part of your paycheck in Bitcoin? Hedge is revolutionizing how you get paid. Hedge makes it easy to automatically convert your pay into crypto. Whether you're an employer or an employee, you can get started in 4 easy steps. Start getting paid in Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Litecoin. Crypto is a long-term play. Start a strategy today. Hedge is here to make it easy to stack them sats, and we may go over what that means. What are you waiting for? Start living life on the Hedge. Check them out at gethedge.io. Once again, gethedge.io. And I think we got a caller on the line.
I think we do. And if you'd like to get involved in the conversation, if you got a question about cryptocurrencies, the phone number, 918-460-KRMG. Our caller is no longer on the line. Okay, well, that's okay. Well,
He's planting some Bitcoin on the moon.
He may be doing that as we speak. But, you mentioned stacking sats.
Yes.
Okay, well, so that is an example of the lingo. And you guys mentioned this earlier about, the first hurdle to get over is figuring out what orange pills are and what sats are and just some of the terminology in lingo. Blockchain, what is that? Sounds like, some kind of, dungeon scenario. So why don't we start with just some of the basic lingo so to help people sort of get into the groove?
Yeah. So, Andrew, do you want to knock out the stack and sats?
Yeah, sure. So Bitcoin, there's 21 million Bitcoin in existence ever, and a Satoshi is so each Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million parts, and a Satoshi is one of those bits. So when you talk about stacking sats, you're talking about buying possibly small amounts of Bitcoin on a consistent basis in time. So
and Satoshi, You want to
Oh,
explain
yeah,
the
and
origin of that?
Satoshi is the synonymous inventor of Bitcoin. So it's Satoshi Nakamoto. And as far as we know, I don't think anyone knows who he is.
Or she, or
she,
them,
or them.
We
No.
don't.
Nobody.
That's part of the mystery.
But again, so we are giving away $200 with Bitcoin. Nick, tell me a little bit about this, because you may
Yes.
think like, does that mean I buy 200 Bitcoin? Or no, because it's divisible by 8 decimal points.
Yep.
And so 0.00000001.
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys are interested in $200 worth of Bitcoin, here's how to qualify. So whether you're listening live or later on the podcast, you can still qualify to win, which is exciting to hear. If you go to Matt's website, mattjmoore.com, and scroll down to the resource section, you will see a button that says Get Hedge. Click that and sign up for Hedge and start having a portion of your paycheck allocated directly to Bitcoin, and it can be as little or as much as you'd like. By using Hedge, you can skip the exchange experience altogether and have your crypto sent directly to your self-custody wallet. So once you sign up and start using Hedge, they'll give Matt a list of emails of all those who signed up and started using Hedge with that referral link. And come July 17th this year, Matt's going to draw a winner and send them $200 worth of Bitcoin. It's that easy. So go to Matt's website, mattjmoore.com, scroll down to the bottom, find that resource section, and click on the Get Hedge button. If you have any questions, send those over to Matt on his website.
And in studio today, I've actually got two other great folks here. Andrew Ryan, a chartered financial analyst, a often contributor of our show. And then we've also got Jeremy Henshaw, 913 Hero. He is a miner. Let's talk hash rate. Jeremy, give me hash rate. If we're talking about some terminology that we've heard people say, give me your breakdown of hash rate.
So hash rate has to do with the difficulty when you're mining, but it's kind of hard to explain without using a whole lot of other terms. I'm trying to think of the simplest way to do it. There's in the blockchain network, in the Bitcoin network, in verifying transactions, there is a built-in hash rate that is the difficulty for everyone connected to the network to try to get there the fastest. It's a speed race. So whoever solves the equations, solves the problems the fastest with the difficulty of the hash rate wins the block. I'm stumbling because I'm trying to use common language, but
That's tough.
it's really difficult.
So the hash rate measures the computing power of the entire Bitcoin network, and as Jeremy was talking about, every 2 weeks there's a difficulty adjustment that keeps it changes up or down, so that no matter how many miners join this network, blocks come out about every 10 minutes. That's the idea.
That's
so
right.
if there are fewer miners, would you make it an easier hash rate so that the same amount of transactions are being solved? And then as more miners move in, you increase the difficulty because more people are working on it, and you want about the same number of equations to get solved in the same length of time. Is that fair?
Yes.
Correct, yeah. So the Bitcoin network must make intensive mathematical operations for security purposes, right? That's the mining process, is running all those mathematical calculations. When the network has reached a hash rate of 10 terahashes per second, that means that the network can make 10 trillion calculations per second, which is crazy. And so currently, I believe the Bitcoin network is at 224 exahashes, which means 224 quintillion calculations per second are being made. Does anybody have any idea how to conceptualize those numbers? Because that's a lot of calculations.
Well, after
a
million
second.
comes billion, then trillion, then quadrillion, and then
Quintillion.
Quintillion.
That's a lot.
That's
Well,
a lot,
another way
isn't
to
it?
think about it is the Bitcoin network is the world's largest computing network. There isn't anything even close to it. So
Which is why it's pretty much impossible to crack it, to hack it, to bring it down. And it doesn't really matter what government or entity you're talking about. Not even Elon can bring down a solid blockchain. Hey, we got to take a quick time out, get you caught up on the news of the day. You are listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Stick with us. Well, welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. I'm Russell Mills. Thanks for hanging out with us as part of your Sunday evening. Much cooler air, right? And I get to hang out with a bunch of cool guys in the studio here. If you'd like to get involved in the conversation, 918-460-KRMG is the number, 918-460-5764. We do have a caller on the line. We'll get to you in just a second. Hang with us, Don. But first, let me bring in our show's host this week. It is Eric Cooper. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Russell. Appreciate it. Once again, T-Town, thank you for joining us. We are taking call-ins today, so you can go to the open mic button. Got that one wrong originally, but you know what? Don't make the same mistake twice. But
right.
So we've got a caller on right now, and so Don, if you're with us still, welcome to the show, and let's hear what you got.
Yes, I have a app called Cash App. I don't know if you've heard of it. You can send and receive cash to other Cash App people. It also has a feature on there where you can purchase Bitcoin. So I was wondering, is that a wallet, or because it'll store it on there, and so when the price goes up or down, it'll fluctuate. But I didn't know if that was considered a wallet or if that's just a app that holds a wallet somewhere else.
That's a great question, Don, and I think we got some people here who could address it. And I guess Andrew is with us. Andrew Ryan.
Yes. So there's fundamentally there's two different ways to hold Bitcoin. You can do it. You can hold it yourself, and that's called self-custody, or you can use a custodian, and that means someone else is holding it for you. With Cash App and a lot of these apps like that, they are actually holding the Bitcoin, so the security is all on them. But you can also, if you wanted to hold that Bitcoin yourself, you could download an app such as Blue Wallet or BRD. There's probably a dozen out there that you actually generate your 12 words and your. It's no different than if you buy gold. You can have a custodian hold it for you in their safe, or you can have a safe at home and hold it yourself. So I think Cash App is custodial, meaning they're holding the Bitcoin on your behalf.
So actually, I believe too. So they operate as an exchange where you can buy and sell Bitcoin on Cash App, and they now have Lightning Network capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
I have bought Bitcoin on Cash App and sent it to my self-custody wallet, which is kind of cool, but you do pay some pretty high fees on Cash App.
Yeah, Don, great question.
Okay. Yeah.
Great question.
So, and there are other options out there for you, and to buy, and a lot of them. Caveat emptor, right? Let the buyer beware. Do your homework and figure out who's doing the fees and who isn't doing the fees. But that custody of the Bitcoin, that is very, very important. So, great question, and clearly you're on the right track, Don.
Don, you got anything else for us there? You're on the line. You're already here. You don't have to dial back. If you got any other questions, we can answer any more.
No, that was it. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Caller, Don, thanks for listening and for calling in. And if somebody else has a question, the number, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764.
There is a lot of reasons for Bitcoin, and I think that certain reasons are more appealing to others. The self-custody, not having someone be in charge of your Bitcoin and of your money, is one of the big ones. And so if you go back and listen to one of go look in the on-demand, check out our What is Money. That's a big one. So we've got a couple of other terminologies, and one of them is double spend. And so double spend is a very, very big one. Andrew, I know that we were talking a little bit about it. Talk to us about the double spend.
Well, so double spend problem, that's the fundamental problem that Bitcoin solved 13 years ago. An analogy is, let's say you had $1,000 in a checking account, and you wrote two $800 checks and gave it to two people. Who gets the money? And so typically you have a central authority that would probably just say whoever deposits the check first gets that money. But if you have a decentralized, leaderless, uncontrolled system, how do you get the whole world to agree that person A or person B gets the $800? Because they both can't get it. So Bitcoin solves that problem, and it's pretty technical, but it was a real miracle. It took probably 30 years of computer scientists to figure out how to solve the double spend problem. But that's the fundamental thing that it solves, and it solves that through mining that Jeremy's really familiar and in.
Definitely. And then another one that we come up with a lot of the time is node. And Nick, I know that you've been studying up on the mining and the nodes and everything. So Nick, give me a little something. So if someone is wanting to know what a node is, what's your lingo for it?
Yeah, so I think, right, you've got the mining side. You've got actors, people that buy and just hold Bitcoin. You've got miners that verify the network. And nodes are another piece of this where they connect to the Bitcoin network. And they run the software necessary to broadcast, relay, and independently verify the transactions that happen on the network, which is huge, right? So the miners go through this whole process of finding the proper, is it hash? Is that the correct term, Jeremy? The answer to that math problem?
Yeah, and the interesting thing is the miners actually are considered nodes themselves.
Okay.
Mining nodes.
Beautiful. So then,
quote unquote.
So then all the other just nodes that are out there, they can then take that input, plug it in, and say, "Yep, this works," and that's what a node is. Correct? Everybody in consensus there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
So another way to think about it is, so mining, they're using big computing machines, spending a lot of electricity to mine. But a full node, anyone can run one of those. I'd say it costs $100 or $200 worth of computer equipment. You're doing it altruistically, but there's you're helping with the security of the network in a different sense than a mining node.
Yes, sir. So obviously, we got lots of questions that are out there because as you get in, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of consumption. Matt J. Moore, our show's namesake, he is a very, very big into consuming anything crypto. And where, again, I learned so much from Matt. And so if you are wanting to get in, he can't help you out with cultivating Bitcoin on the moon, but getting started, setting up an external wallet, self-custody, he's going to help you out with all that. One thing is Matt is a whale of a friend, but when it comes to Bitcoin, a whale is one that people hear quite often, and a whale is technically someone who owns more than 5% of any cryptocurrency coin, and they are potentially dangerous, right? Because anytime the crypto world goes south, they get blamed for a lot of these things because moving money from wallet to wallet, and it makes the obviously it fluctuate a little bit, but we've got some other stuff going on externally right now too. So now peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is another big one. Jeremy, I know that we got a little note there for the peer-to-peer, but give me your internal definition, peer-to-peer.
Well, I came from the music industry, so peer-to-peer has a very, very impactful meaning to the entire music industry with Napster and LimeWire, Morpheus, Kazaa, revolutionized the whole industry and changed the game. But it's essentially the same thing. It's people connecting to people. Yeah, is peer-to-peer. It's pretty simple, and it's a great part of what the Bitcoin network actually is and what it can do for the world. Because, like, I think about if you're on a Saturday afternoon and you want to do something with your bank, you're just out of luck until Monday morning. There's nothing you can do. If you're after 5 p.m. on a regular day, there's nothing you can do. But a peer-to-peer network, you can do whatever you want. Send money to somebody, receive money from somebody, and transfer assets and effectively have independent control of your own life and your own finances by a peer-to-peer network.
So, obviously the self-custody, the peer-to-peer thing, those are big. We've seen some of the paradigm shifts just with, I think I mentioned it a long time ago, is the first tap to pay using your phone to go make purchases. And Verizon had ISIS, a very ill-named tap to pay. But now we use Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We've seen these things. Obviously, you can get on and, I could buy a new iPad or a bottle opener on Amazon, and I got no issues with the buy now. So there's the peer-to-peer thing is happening, more and more options and are out there right now for you to be able to send money from me to Andrew if I want to pay Andrew for something, or if Andrew has a store that he's doing, Chartered Financial Analyst swag, if you will. And do you have any of that yet?
No, I don't.
No, but if I wanted to buy that shirt, I could just shoot it your way. And again, you don't have to pay the 3% credit card processing.
Right. The key being it's going from Eric to Andrew.
No bank.
There's no bank. There's no credit card company. There's no, Telegram service or, in between the two. It's peer-to-peer. And that's kind of what you were talking about with the music industry. It used to be you had to go to a website to download the music, and then it was really easy for people to come along and close that website down.
Or physically to a store.
Right.
You had to drive somewhere to get a CD.
But then when peer-to-peer networks popped up, and all of a sudden it's just the two of us here in the dark corner of the internet doing our thing, and how are they going to track that down and shut that down? And that was a whole thing. And you're right. It was a game changer for the music industry.
And Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer network, I believe it's had 100% uptime since at least 2013. So 9 years, every 10 minutes, TikTok, next block. It's been working, and I don't think anything is that reliable.
Well, and on the opposite side, I mean, what does it look like if we're not utilizing a peer-to-peer system? For all of us, we love buying the dip, right?
Yeah.
We would love to buy the dip. I use multiple banks for my personal finances, and just so happened that dip came on the weekend, and guess who didn't get to buy the dip when he wanted? That was me.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're still dipping. It's okay. There's still time. All right. That is about it for us. I think we're about out of time. Last thoughts?
That's it, guys. Again, thanks for joining us. Callers, again, go mattjmoore.com. Google it. Find out a way. If you have a question, we are always here to help out. Andrew, everybody do Roundtable. How can they find you as we head out?
I'm on Facebook, and look up the Tulsa Bitcoin Meetup.
I'm Jeremy, 913hero.com.
Come check out the Nick and Griff Show at Nick and Griff Show on Twitter. Come check us out.
All right, and come check us out right here next Sunday for more of Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Thanks to our host, Eric Cooper. Thanks to Nick and Andrew and Jeremy, everybody, for calling in. We do appreciate it. Keep the faith out there, people. We'll see you here next Sunday.